But all right, so we got the truck hooked up to the trailer right there. The F100 is still in the trailer from last weekend's wild adventures in Laughlin, Nevada. So as you can see, it's sitting kind of crooked over here. But I know the sway bar is bent, as you can see. But yeah, we're gonna unload this thing and get to work on it. Hopefully it's not too bad. Oh, the bedside mount broke. Oh no.
What broke? What?
Bedside mount broke.
Oh shoot.
No good.
Oh.
We've got to document this whole rebuild process there a while, Bill.
Oh, okay.
So.
Do you want me to turn the camera off?
Yeah. No, it's on.
It's on. Okay.
You can have that.
Yo dudes, Bill here. So it's like a week after Rage at the River, and we're finally getting to unload Chris's truck out of the trailer and try to get it back into the shop so we can tear it all apart, fix it, and get it ready for King of the Hammers. So here we go. I'm ready, Chris.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Did you tell the people what's going on?
Yeah, I told the people what they wanted to hear.
All right, perfect.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's good to go. It should buff out.
Just a little bit of Bondo and it'll be alright. Scratch the wrap.
Kind of a sad deal. Kind of bummed out about this.
At least all four corners are still on the car. Could be worse.
Yeah, definitely.
Could be worse.
Yeah, motor still runs. Tires and wheels are still on it. None of the suspension's screwed up that we can tell so far.
It is kind of an end of a chapter, and we definitely have a lot of miles and a lot of years in this truck, and we don't really want to sell it, and we kind of want to hold on to this thing and start looking at building a new truck, another 6100 truck, a sister one to ours, or Nick's truck. So hold on to this one and put a paint job on it, put a windshield in it, and kind of just cruise around with it. Well, Dad's we're gonna continue working on cutting the dashboard out. We're making a lot of noise. Sorry. Jesus criminy. Needs a quieter. Full needs a quieter tool. How to help me with this dashboard? Yeah. So much work goes into cutting these dang cabs off and putting them on, but at the end of the day, they're hot rods and they look cool when they're done. We're gonna try and get it done for King of the Hammers to use as a pre-runner, but we're also talking about like sealing this entire truck up and building an actual pre-runner out of it, so it'll have a windshield, back windows, the doors will have full glass in it, the cab will get all sealed up, all the tin work and everything, and then actually put a paint job on this truck for once. It'll get like a gloss black paint job with like the heat wave painted into it, kind of like in its final form, because I don't think we're gonna race this truck anymore. I think it's gonna turn into a show truck and a pre-runner and go to all the shows and events and stuff like that. So it'll still get driven, but I don't think it'll take a green flag again. I think it'll more of a play truck and pre-runner. Seal it up, maybe even strip the entire truck down to a bare chassis and have it sandblasted at ECP and then recoated once everything's done, so it's like fresh, and like panel in the back, and basically do everything that we've been wanting to do to this thing for a really long time. Just I've always put it off, so it might get stripped down to a bare chassis and sent off like T2 did, and then recoated. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The roof of the truck is off, all within 30 seconds. All right, well, we can probably turn that air compressor off. There it goes. This is for sure bent. Here, this looks like it's bent. There, I took a good hit right here. Wow, pretty impressive. That's all 120 wall too. You can see the paint cracking here and here. Some of the paint down here too. That side all bent up too? Yeah. This tube's for sure bent in. Oh wow, you can see it. Oh, jeez. It's pretty impressive. So this moved that way, had to have, right? Yeah, probably. I'd honestly, we'll cut this out and this tube out all the way back to the chassis because I want to redo this anyway and land this where it should be into this and redo it on top of the shock mount because it's cracking on that side. Or it cracked, so we had to weld it. But yeah, we'll snip it, snip the door tubes out, snip this out, snip the A out. But it's like, what are we gonna do? Cut it here and then sleeve it into and save this tube when this is a straight tube anyway. Well, kind of. It's a straight tube all the way down.
Yeah.
So we'd get a junction. It's a lot easier to cut things off than it is to replace it. We just gotta remember that.
Yeah.
It takes all of 5 minutes to cut a tube out and then 5 hours to put it back in. It's just this plate here at the A-pillar and the tube that's stubbed out into the cab itself. So I bet you if we cut that plate out on the chassis,
Yeah.
we could probably, and then cut it down at the bottom, we could probably weasel it off of the tube. Just like that. We got the cab cut off of it. It was actually relatively easy. It only took like 5 or 10 minutes because it's only like welded in a few spots. The A-pillar up here and really down here, and then it just registers here. So getting the cab off is relatively easy. Got the dashboard out of it, the seats are out of it, all the tin work are out of it. We started looking over the entire truck to see what all is really damaged and what needs to be replaced. And we see that this tube for sure needs to get replaced. The eyebrow needs to get replaced. It got bent. The secondary A-pillar on that side got bent. But other than that, the rest of the chassis itself, all the suspension components, all the four corners are all good. The back of the chassis is good. The front bumper obviously needs to get replaced because it took most of the hit, so it got bent down. But yeah, for the actual main structure of the truck, it's just the A-pillar really. The roof tubes will get replaced. Pretty sure we're gonna leave the back whole section, and then the kickers coming out of the back will just tie into it. So it doesn't look like it's gonna be very much work to get this thing back up and running, but we're gonna go ahead and change the door tube layout to get it a little easier to get in and out of the truck. Still have the secondary A-pillars though, because this is, I feel like having this tube here really like prevented the whole corner here from coming in. So having that structure there is definitely ideal in a race car application. So I think we're going to try and do a different configuration, but definitely have a secondary A-pillar as well. I think we're going to change some of the interior panels too, just to get a little more leg room. The motor used to sit this far back when we originally built the truck, so that's why this tube is here. But now that the motor's farther forward, we're going to change some of the interior panels to get some more room in there. We noticed the truck was leaning really hard to the right, and come to find out, the sway bar itself actually bent a pretty good amount. The arms are good and everything, but the actual bar twisted, and I'm not sure, it had to have been from when we crashed and just landed on one side and it just like sprung up one way and it took all the load. That's the first time I've ever seen a sway bar that sprung in different directions. So we'll have to get a new sway bar for that, but everything else looks pretty good. Gonna cut all the tubes apart. So Wild Bill's over here, he's making a shit ton of noise. I don't know what he's doing. What are you doing?
Cutting tubes. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Well, that's a good piece of material still. We can reuse that.
Oh yeah.
Just re-notch it and put it somewhere else.
That's it.
You gonna cut that tube out?
I don't think it'll move.
But what if it does?
Then we're screwed.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's got
It's
got the center console tube in it. I don't think it'll go anywhere.
Because it's got the frame and it's got this outside tube.
And it's got a tube that goes from this joint down to the frame. I think I'd be more worried about the back doing.
What do you think, Nicholas?
Do you think it's gonna collapse on itself? The front I'm not really worried about. It's more, I think, the back and the back wall.
I don't know if it'll move much realistically because it has so much frame rail in it. Like the big factory fat frame.
So it's not gonna just allow it to
I don't
twist.
think so, no. Take a measurement right now of what it is. And when you cut it out, see if it moves. If it does, then we know we need to figure out some way to like like a Can-Am, just jack it up in the middle. Let it open up.
Cage fist now.
Yeah.
I guess we could support it with jack stands.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say anything, but I don't think it should move too much.
Like you said, with the frame.
Yeah, if it was like a regular tube chassis and it was relying on just like 2 tubes going forward, I would worry about it. But I think with a full boxed frame rail, I
think it'll be alright.
But yeah, pull a measurement though before you. Good thing we went to school for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All those years we spent working at all those shops, you know, learning fabrication.
Learning things.
Just kidding. We've never worked anywhere but here.
Okay. All right. Well, you can probably. All right, you can kind of hear me. We started grinding all the cut tubes out of this thing. It's really not fun at all. But once we cut the door tubes, the thing kind of went boom. So we added that tube right there to kind of help the back wall from coming in and the front wall from coming in. That way everything stays kind of square. But yeah, so all the tube junctions like that and that and that. Nobody's here. I'm all by myself, and I think they knew that I was gonna be grinding tonight, so they all decided not to come to the shop, which if I was them, I'd probably do the same thing because this shit's annoying. But it is what it is, got to get done. So I would highly suggest anytime you're doing a large amount of grinding, shoot, any grinding at that matter, I'd suggest some sort of respirator and obviously eye protection and ear protection. So yeah, it's a crap ton of work and definitely not the funnest part, but it's got to get done. So we cut the roof off, all the main tube roof structure out, cut the door tubes out of it because this mid rail, when it hit real hard, it bent the mid rail in just a little bit, and we wanted to change up the door tubes to make it a little easier to get in and out of the truck. Since we won't be racing this truck anymore, we wanted to make it a little more user friendly. So yeah, we ended up cutting the whole roof off, and then we made these sleeves that go into here. We'll register the new roof tube, but now we're just at the stage where we got to bring that cab over here and start gutting the cab apart, and then get it slipped over here, and then we can start fitting all the roof tubes and the A-pillar and all the lacing and everything. So realistically, this thing isn't very far away from being back together. It's just cutting the cab apart and laying some tubes in.
Got a windshield now?
We don't yet, so whether it has a windshield at King of the Hammers or not, I'm not sure, but at least it will.
Wild Bill.
There he is. Wild Bill is here. Wild Bill is
The
here.
master fabricator.
You gonna come explain all your work that you did to this thing?
Yeah, we made it a convertible.
Yeah, there you go.
It's basically what it is. It's a throwback to the '60s like water pumper dune buggies, where they had the motor up front, they had a single hoop. That was it. So
Oh, okay.
that's the direction we're heading.
Yeah, no, it's really not that far back away from driving again. We just gotta put the cab back on it, run some tubes in the roof, and then we gotta build out a core support and all that once we get the fiberglass from McNeil. I'll be back on ready to go.